Greetings, SGF0212 here, bringing you another Heroes and Generals modding video. However, this is not a full modding video like my others. This is more of a modding updates video. Because if you've watched all of my other modding videos, aside from Soviets, which was made in the same update as which I'm recording right now, then you realize that many of them are not exactly up to date. Thus, this is why I'm making the modding update video. Number 1. And I will continue to make them as any weapon changes that occur in future updates if they affect my modding style. If they don't, feel free to use the mods that I recommend in my first video for each faction. If there's any type of major change that upsets the entire modding system, then I will of course remake them. But in the meantime, I will go over some of the simple rules that have changed. If you recall from my Axis and American weapon modding video, then I said that whenever you are going to increase the rate of fire of an SMG, there is one internal that you would use, and that would be the Lightning Bolt, because it had practically no downside, a small range decrease. However, after the Adams update, the Lightning Bolt got a couple other downsides, namely a decrease in accuracy and stability. So, my advice now is to run the Field Trigger job. It has the least downside of any of the rate of fire increasing mods. The Marksman trigger also got nerfed to the fact that it doesn't add additional rate of fire. So, stick with the Field Trigger job. As you can see on my Thompson, it still makes it more accurate and about as stable as it would be stock. I've done the same thing on my PPSH, which if you guys will recall, had the Lightning Bolt on it, but now it has the Field Trigger job. This is the same for any rate of fire addition that you only want to add a single mod for. However, if you're running something like the MP40, feel free to add the Lightning Bolt because I like running this at a faster rate than just one trigger can provide. Next up, we have the semi-automatic rifles. Since Adams, there has also been a welcome addition to the arsenal of semi-auto rifles, which is the Scout 2 S barrel. Now this barrel allows you to 2-hit kill gold heavyset, guaranteed, if you shoot them in the chest. Now what this will do is it will also decrease your accuracy and stability. So as always, think about it, because I could take this off and would have to 3-shot people. However, I can put those 3 shots very accurately, as you see in the shot circle. However, I think the Scout 2S is worth it. If you run the right badges and the right setup, then it becomes an absolute beast. Now, next on the list is the Walther P-38. It is a pistol that came with the Bauer Panther update, which I should really do a video over. I might be the subject of my next tank talk. However, I found that whenever I was grinding out the Walther P-38 ribbon, I found that this setup worked the best, and I transferred it over to the POE because I got one of these fancy carbon black skins on it, and it actually looks very nice. And that is the match trigger with the match sights. You can see it brings the accuracy back to normal stock, but it boosts the rate of fire up a crap ton, and that is great, especially since the Walther P-38 has wonderful damage. And yes, while I will run a full damage setup with the Faust heavy pistol bolt and chrome line barrel, along with this max rate of fire, you will see I've found that this simple setup is both cost effective and it gets the job done, because you can shoot very fast with very good accuracy. So, the next item on our list is the STG. As you will remember before I would say run just a single rate of fire up, increasing internal, which my personal preference was the Light and Spring. This would bring it to 553 rounds a minute and with controllable recoil. However, in Churchill, the STG got a massive increase in recoil, so that is actually no longer feasible. If you run it at 553, I feel personally that the kickback will knock the sight up into your face and you won't be able to see your target. So, a faster rate of fire increases the rate at which it cycles up and down from the recoil, which means that though it will have a little extra recoil than if you were just using, say, the singular light and spring, but you will still be able to see more because the sights won't be up in your face all the time. Now, the next object on our list is the FG-42. And before, you'll remember I said whenever you're using the FG, to run the scope, light and spring, and stainless steel barrel. That was my personal preference anyway. Well, the FG has two additions, which is the Koenig FJ-S barrel and the fast trigger job. And now there's all sorts of different things that you could do to get this different configurations, as always. If you want to run a scope and have it as stable as can be, add the Koenig FJS, the heavy spring, and the scope, and you can see by the shot circle it brings it down quite a bit. It's very accurate. However, I like to have a catch-all setup, so I run the stainless steel barrel, fast trigger, heavy spring, and the scope. This gives it a little less rate of fire than what it did have in my previous setup, but it makes it far more controllable. Now, on to something else. With the Scout 2S barrel, as an addition for the semi-auto sniper rifles, a DMR loadout is now viable. Before, you just had to use the Anschutz Patron, or your ZN1 sniper, or your match ammunition, and just hope that they weren't wearing heavyset. Now, you can guarantee a 2-shot kill up to about 150 meters using this setup, which is the sniper ammunition, Scout 2S barrel, and the scope. I add the heavy spring just to control the recoil that this setup does have, so you can make accurate shots, because it's not a one-shot unless you hit them right in the face. You will have to put another bullet in them. I realize that, yes, you could add the armor-piercing ammunition. For the Soviets, it's the Type D heavy ball, it's the SMK Hart for Germans, and the Birdie Clay, and you can get this to about 80 to 85 damage, which is absolutely devastating in close combat, especially if you run it extremely fast. But, however, for a DMR setup, you gain a chance to 2-hit kill longer. At about 150 meters is when it drops off, compared to if you use the armor piercing, about 100. So you get an extra 50 meters of 2-hit kill. All in all, as I've said before, if there is any other major change or any weapon changes, as I'm sure there will be in the coming updates, I will make a separate update video, and I will post it to my channel. In the meantime, I hope to see all you wonderful people on the battlefield, and wish you only the best of luck. This is SJF0212 signing off. Goodbye.